Okay, so let's just have a nice restorative session because the weather's been rubbish today and we're feeling a bit tired and exhausted. So restorative is perfect for this. So have your blanket on the floor. You can keep your socks on if you want to keep yourself warm. Have your bolster for underneath your knees. Have your blocks for underneath your feet. And then just have your folded blanket for underneath your head. So we'll just do a simple session of gentle poses just to bring quietness, release, but also energy. So just feel that you can use the floor, straight line of the floor to release. So the bolster underneath your knees is there just to help soften the curvature of the lumbar spine. Just listen to the sound of the breath as it enters and as it exits. So just spend a moment or two just to give yourself permission to relax. Just feel that the floor supports you. And you begin to unhook your muscles. Releasing the muscles in the arms and the legs. Just feeling where the skin connects with the floor. Taking deep in breaths, filling your lungs all the way into the lining of the lungs. Filling the air all the way to the tips of the bronchial tubes. If you feel uncomfortable in the position, then just adjust so that you feel more comfortable, more able to stay. So comfort is paramount with this practice. So just allow yourself to completely release into the floor. So as you stay, just allow yourself to release into the floor a little bit more each time. Using out breaths to soften into the pose. Draw your attention to the soles of your feet. And consciously relax the soles of your feet. Draw your attention to the tops of your feet. And allow the skin and the muscle to really let go of tension. Releasing tension from the top of the feet. Relaxing the tops of the feet. Draw your attention to your shins. Allow the shins to relax, softening the muscle in the skin, and allowing the shins to sink in towards the backs of the calves. Draw your attention to your kneecaps. Feel that you can relax the kneecaps in the sockets. Draw your attention to your thighs and allow your thighs to gently release and relax. Draw your attention to your torso. Allow your torso to release into the floor, just surrendering to the straight line of the floor. Draw your attention to your arms and release any tension from the arms. Taking deep inhalations, deep exhalations, just allowing yourself to mold into the floor. So this pose, this basic relaxation pose, just brings release and energy. So as we go on, I'll talk less and less, allowing you to use the time to just quieten your mind. Spending a little time just to really give yourself permission to just let go and relax. you're ready, just start to wriggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, bringing yourself back into this basic relaxation pose. Just bend your knees into your chest and then just bring yourself up into a seated position. So we're going to do a pose called mountain brook. So get your blanket and just fold it out like this, and then just fold it down the middle. I've got cats helping me today, which is always helpful. And then just fold it down the middle again. So you've got this kind of slightly thick blanket for underneath your shoulders. You can move the blocks that you had for your knees. And then this is a really nice pose for shoulders. You just bring the bolster underneath your knees again, and then you might have to come in and out a couple of times. You have the bolster just in your shoulders, in the shoulder blade region, and then just raise your arms and just rest your arms on the floor. So the arms are bent. Just resting the hands on the backs of backs of the hands on the floor, and then just extend your arms away. You can hook the thumbs together or just hold them to your fingers or whatever. So this gives you a good opening in the chest. So it's a nice energizing pose for when you feel tired, mountain brook. So the bolster underneath your knees just softens your lumbar spine, and the shoulders over your head opens up the shoulders with the assistance of the blanket underneath your shoulders. It's just underneath your shoulder blades. So again, just gently release into the pose. So this pose just opens up your shoulders. Soften your jaw, soften your tongue, soften your throat, so that your energy is soft and pure. Listen to the sound of your breath. So just letting the body totally let go and release. Using the bolsters to accommodate the body and to allow the body to release without strain. So this pose of mountain brook tends to transform your energy. Building your energy, giving you energy for the rest of the day. Okay, when you're ready, just gently release your arms just to the sides of your torso. Draw your knees in towards your chest, and then just bring yourself up into a seated pose. So that really helps to open up your chest. So we're going to use your blanket, but for a different purpose. Have your bolster just for your back, and just unfold your blanket so you've got this kind of long fold again, and then you're going to bring the blanket around the fronts of your shins, and then pull the blanket in so that you come into kind of Baddha Konasana, into this kind of heart pose. And then so you've got kind of butterfly legs, and the upper body is in a heart pose. Now, if your head feels like it rolls back like this and your chin is higher than your chest, then just put a blanket underneath your head or get hold of the back of your neck, and then just encourage the back of your neck to stretch away. So ideally you want your head, your chin in line with your forehead. You don't want the chin higher than your forehead. So this pose really opens up the energy of the chest, and it opens up the hips. Bring in openness and levelness. Again, as we progress, I'll speak less and less, so that you can use this as an opportunity to quieten down. This practice is gentle, but it really transforms your energy. By staying in the poses, you learn to stay, to quiet them inside. You learn how to relax, giving ourselves permission to relax. Taking deep inhalations, bringing in the energy of the breath. To make the in-breath reach all the way into the tips of the bronchial tubes, into the lining of the lungs. Scanning the body for areas of discomfort and using your out breath into that region to create the release out of tension. moment, we're going to just prepare ourselves for the possibility of movement. So just bring yourself back into this heart pose with butterfly legs pose. And then just push your elbows into the floor if you can reach, and then come up into seated position. So you can stay on the floor. We're going to have a bolster between your legs, but then you'll need a couple of blocks to kind of give yourself a little bit of a kind of a ramp. So one block kind of down like this, one on the high end, and then just have your blocks like the bolster in front of you. Now, in this sequence, it says you should have your legs kind of in butterfly and come forwards and reach forwards. I personally don't enjoy this pose, coming forwards with the legs in butterfly. I prefer to keep my legs straight, so I find it's really uncomfortable in the backs of my knees otherwise. You might want a folded up blanket just along the top as well, and just try and come forwards and just rest down. If you want, you can just give yourself a bit of extra cushioning with your blanket. So you're just coming forwards. Now, if this is uncomfortable in your back, then what you can do instead is to kind of just go back onto your back for the basic relaxation pose, the one we did right at the beginning with the bolster underneath your knees and the blanket underneath your head. Otherwise, just come forwards, just resting on the lifted bolster, and just let your hands rest on your legs or on your feet, and then just rest your head on one side. So like I say, I find it more comfortable to do this with not quite straight legs, but the legs aren't in a kind of a butterfly pose. The legs are just relaxing. So it's a seated kind of butterfly variation. I prefer it with straighter legs than Baddha Konasana legs. So you'll rest your head on one side, and then after a little while, you can rest your head on the other side. So this is a good sequence if you've been feeling a bit anxious, a bit stressed. It's a great way to unwind and recharge. For a little while, You can always rest your head on the opposite side. Just keep the neck stretch on the other side. Again, you can swap your head around just to loosen the neck. Okay, and when you're ready, just sit yourself up, and then we're going to stay with the bolster as it is, and if you've got a belt, then get yourself your yoga belt. If you haven't got a belt, don't worry, don't disturb yourself too much. But if you have, then put your belt into kind of a small loop, and then you're just going to put it around your feet, and then you just pull it. You don't have to pull it very tight, but you're just going to come up onto your lift. Just have the bolster, the belt around your feet, so that you can just let your legs relax. And then just rest down on the floor with your legs stretching up the bolster. So it's just a very gentle inversion. If you can't work with the belt, then you pull your feet out like this, the blanket around the feet, and then you just try and kind of make it so that the blanket kind of holds itself. So you have to put the blanket around the fronts of the feet, wrap it over like so, so that the legs stay as they are. So you can release your legs. So either with the blanket or with the belt. And then just gently release to the floor. Just let your legs soften and release. And your hands on your lower ribs or just out to the side. Whatever feels most comfortable. Perhaps observe that your mental energy perhaps feels a little different. There's a greater clarity in the brain. I'm not asking you to focus on anything, but just observe the change in your energy. Draw your attention to your breath. Bring to your attention something that is within your immediate physical experience. Something to be grateful for. Could be the clothes you're wearing or the bolsters and the equipment you have, or just your ability to be able to do this practice. So just find something with an immediate physical experience to be grateful for. And say silently to yourself, and thank you for this blessing. Continue to draw your attention to things within your immediate physical environment, and the walls around you, the clothes that you're wearing, to the breath. And just bearing in mind gratitude that you feel for these simple blessings. Thank you for this blessing. And gently moving beyond your immediate physical blessings to other things in your life that you feel grateful for. Your home or your family, your relationships, job, anything that brings you a feeling of gratitude. Through each one by one, not feeling that you need to justify why, just allow it to drop into your head. Thank for the blessing and move on to the next. When you stop thinking of new things, and just allow yourself to indulge for a few moments in that feeling of abundance in the heart area, gratitude that you feel for the things that you have. Observe how your energy has changed. Maybe where you were feeling tired or a bit energyless at the beginning, how the energy feels positive and flowing. And then just bend your knees, just take your feet out of the belt or the blanket, and then just bring yourself up into a cross-legged position. Coming back into cross legs with the hands in the masti, just a final spinal lift. Drawing your breath in through your nose down into the abdominal region. Just listening to the sound of the breath as it enters and as it exits. Conscious of the energy that you have released through this gentle practice this evening. And then just gently release your chin down to meet your chest. Just spend a moment to acknowledge the positive energy you've created inside. And then send some of that positive energy out into the world. And just gently release the backs of your hands down toward your knees, palms facing upwards. And as you raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open. And focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. Thank you. So hopefully your energy feels a bit more aligned and lively, and you feel a bit more energetic for the rest of your evening. So thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you, Matt.